Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to today's show, Face the Nation GH, World Politics. Once more, me welcome my community now. For some good reason, on various platforms that me streaming live now, I have to redo yesterday's show again. Because I think say Facebook I issue warning be and YouTube also has come out with a warning and a couple of the platforms. I'm just trying to do a recap on what we did yesterday about the U.S. inauguration. This what happened. I mean, I don't want to speak so much into it, but once again, after this show, may they replace the one we did yesterday. Likely, say me delete the old one. No. Okay. Once more, my welcome you, BBR. Yesterday was 20th January 2021. That was a very big day in the history of this country. Americans, finally, inaugural ceremony of the 46th president or the commander-in-chief of the United States of America, which is President-elect Joe Biden and the Vice Kamala Harris. Okay, so this is what happened. We all know what happened in the elections. After the elections, Donald J. Trump rejected the outcome of the elections or tries to be to various state courts, even including the federal courts. Then, even went to Supreme Court to seek an injunction to injunct Pennsylvania court. We all saw what happened in the Capitol Hill. Emma Trump, as it stands, rejected the elections. Yeah, I mean, all in all, it ends up saying there's almost inauguration. Inauguration was commenced as at yesterday. So, elections need to take place really, During the election, I don't think he's the first president to do that in the history of this country. It has happened before, even though one show up. But you say before Baba Conenra or man a fair deal or giving a final message to the Americans. Hala or abandon the private life our Baba started yet. So you better get into that issue now a little bit.
And to restore the allegiance of this government to its citizens. In short, we embarked on a mission to make America great again for all Americans. As I conclude my term as the 45th President of the United States, I stand before you truly proud of what we have achieved together. We did what we came here to do, and so much more. This week we inaugurate a new administration and pray for its success in keeping America safe and prosperous. We extend our best wishes, and we also want them to have luck, a very important word. I'd like to begin by thanking just a few of the amazing people who made our remarkable journey possible. First, let me express my overwhelming gratitude for the love and support of our spectacular First Lady, Melania. Let me also share my deepest appreciation to my daughter Ivanka, my son-in-law Jared, and to Barron, Don, Eric, Tiffany, and Lara. You fill my world with light and with joy. I also want to thank Vice President Mike Pence, his wonderful wife Karen, and the entire Pence family. Thank you as well to my Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, the dedicated members of the White House staff, and the Cabinet and all of the incredible people across our administration who poured out their heart and soul to fight for America. I also want to take a moment to thank a truly exceptional group of people, the United States Secret Service. My family and I will forever be in your debt. My profound gratitude as well to everyone in the White House military office, the teams of Marine One and Air Force One, every member of the armed forces, and state and local law enforcement all across our country. Most of all, I want to thank the American people. To serve as your president has been an honor beyond description. Thank you for this extraordinary privilege, and that's what it is, a great privilege and a great honor. We must never forget that while Americans will always have our disagreements, we are a nation of incredible, decent, faithful, and peace-loving citizens who all want our country to thrive and flourish and be very, very successful and good. We are a truly magnificent nation. All Americans were horrified by the assault on our capital. Political violence is an attack on everything we cherish as Americans. It can never be tolerated. Now more than ever, we must unify around our shared values and rise above the partisan rancor and forge our common destiny. 4 years ago, I came to Washington as the only true outsider ever to win the presidency. I had not spent my career as a politician, but as a builder looking at open skylines and imagining infinite possibilities. I ran for president because I knew there were towering new summits for America just waiting to be scaled. I knew the potential for our nation was boundless as long as we put America first. So I left behind my former life and stepped into a very difficult arena, but an arena nevertheless with all sorts of potential if properly done. America had given me so much, and I wanted to give something back. Together with millions of hard-working patriots across this land, we built the greatest political movement in the history of our country. We also built the greatest economy in the history of the world. It was about America first because we all wanted to make America great again. We restored the principle that a nation exists to serve its citizens. Our agenda was not about right or left. It wasn't about Republican or Democrat, but about the good of a nation, and that means the whole nation. With the support and prayers of the American people, we achieved more than anyone thought possible. Nobody thought we could even come close. We passed the largest package of tax cuts and reforms in American history. We slashed more job-killing regulations than any administration had ever done before. We fixed our broken trade deals, withdrew from the horrible Trans-Pacific Partnership and the impossible Paris Climate Accord, renegotiated the one-sided South Korea deal, and we replaced NAFTA with the groundbreaking USMCA. That's Mexico and Canada, a deal that's worked out very, very well. Also, and very importantly, we imposed historic and monumental tariffs on China, made a great new deal with China. But before the ink was even dry, we and the whole world got hit with the China virus. Our trade relationship was rapidly changing. Billions and billions of dollars were pouring into the U.S., but the virus forced us to go in a different direction. The whole world suffered, but America outperformed other countries economically because of our incredible economy and the economy that we built. Without the foundations and footings, it wouldn't have worked out this way. We wouldn't have some of the best numbers we've ever had. We also unlocked our energy resources and became the world's #1 producer of oil and natural gas, by far. Powered by these policies, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We reignited America's job creation and achieved record-low unemployment for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, women, almost everyone. Income soared, wages boomed, the American dream was restored, and millions were lifted from poverty in just a few short years. It was a miracle. Stock market set one record after another with 148 stock market highs during this short period of time, and boosted the retirements and pensions of hardworking citizens all across our nation. 401ks are at a level they've never been at before. We've never seen numbers like we've seen, and that's before the pandemic and after the pandemic. We rebuilt the American manufacturing base, opened up thousands of new factories, and brought back the beautiful phrase, "Made in the USA." To make life better for working families, we doubled the child tax credit and signed the largest ever expansion of funding for child care and development. We joined with the private sector to secure commitments to train more than 16 million American workers for the jobs of tomorrow. When our nation was hit with the terrible pandemic, we produced not one, but 2 vaccines with record-breaking speed, and more will quickly follow. They said it couldn't be done, but we did it. They called it a medical miracle, and that's what they're calling it right now, a medical miracle. Another administration would have taken 3, 4, 5, maybe even up to 10 years to develop a vaccine. We did it in 9 months. We grieve for every life lost, and we pledge in their memory to wipe out this horrible pandemic once and for all. When the virus took its brutal toll on the world's economy, we launched the fastest economic recovery our country has ever seen. We passed nearly $4 trillion in economic relief, saved or supported over 50 million jobs, and slashed the unemployment rate in half. These are numbers that our country has never seen before. We created choice and transparency in healthcare, stood up to Big Pharma in so many ways, but especially in our effort to get favored nations clauses added, which will give us the lowest prescription drug prices anywhere in the world. We passed VA choice, VA accountability, right to try, and landmark criminal justice reform. We confirmed 3 new justices of the United States Supreme Court. We appointed nearly 300 federal judges to interpret our Constitution as written. For years, the American people pleaded with Washington to finally secure the nation's borders. I am pleased to...
I believe Hannah or elaborate on the achievement, how sacrificing a private life, it taking the office. So definitely that's what His Excellency Donald Trump was trying to tell the American people. But actually in the administration and the taking of Echo, Florida, we saw a new administration taking place, Andra. This is what happened. Mike Pence is taking over. Now the sad thing is, it's unfortunate, Mr. Trump and to me call. I believe he's not the first person I owe you in the history of the country. So we saw in the vice, stepping in. We saw videos and we saw pictures, seeing Mike Pence and Harris. But one thing own to me acted in a capacity as Trump. They would send a Trump and Cassandra Beba, but it's unfortunate. So like I said, more to me and show up. So actually the program actually went well. We saw Obama, we saw Bush, we saw Clinton. The only person that was missing, as I stated earlier, was Donald Trump. So let's hear what Mike Pence also said.
Redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking down that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley.
That's when you're more welcome and I'm going to declare the speech. There you go. You can see my pen sitting there.
From sea to shining sea, una nación bajo Dios indivisible con libertad y justicia para todos. Let's get This land was made for you and me.
That's the President-elect for United States, the 46th President of United States.
My
currently
fellow
the-
Americans,
There you go.
a moment we have all been waiting for. It is now my great privilege and high honor to be the first person to officially introduce the 46th President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden, Jr.
Chief Justice Roberts, Vice President Harris, Speaker Pelosi, Leader Schumer, Leader McConnell, Vice President Pence, and my distinguished guests, my fellow Americans. This is America's day. This is democracy's day. A day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Through a crucible for the ages, America has been tested anew, and America has risen to the challenge. Today, we celebrate the triumph not of a candidate, but of a cause, the cause of democracy. The people, the will of the people, has been heard, and the will of the people has been heeded. We've learned again that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. So now, on this hallowed ground where just a few days ago, violence sought to shake the Capitol's very foundation, we come together as one nation, under God, indivisible, to carry out the peaceful transfer of power as we have for more than 2 centuries. As we look ahead in our uniquely American way, restless, bold, optimistic, and set our sights on the nation we know we can be and we must be. I thank my predecessors of both parties for their presence here today. I thank them from the bottom of my heart. And I know the resilience of our Constitution and the strength of our nation, as does President Carter, who I spoke with last night, who cannot be with us today, but whom we salute for his lifetime in service. I've just taken the sacred oath each of those patriots have taken. The oath first sworn by George Washington. But the American story depends not on any one of us, not on some of us, but on all of us, on we the people, who seek a more perfect union. This is a great nation. We are good people. And over the centuries, through storm and strife, in peace and in war, we've come so far. But we still have far to go. We'll press forward with speed and urgency, for we have much to do in this winter of peril and significant possibilities. Much to repair, much to restore, much to heal, much to build, and much to gain. Few people in our nation's history have been more challenged or found a time more challenging or difficult than the time we're in now. Once-in-a-century virus that silently stalks the country. It's taken as many lives in 1 year as America lost in all of World War II. Millions of jobs have been lost. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed. A cry for racial justice, some 400 years in the making, moves us.
I believe a lot has been said. You see, he actually elaborates on events that taking place, Emmanuel taking their seat. But right now, what is next for the Americans domestically and what is next for the world? Because there's no way you can address United States politics without focusing on their foreign policy, because they play the role as a giant of the world. And therefore, what does what does Joe Biden's administration in for Russia, in for China, in for Iran, and in for North Korea? There is a lot. Where Trump places the United States, what we are likely to see is he going to take the country back, or is he going to continue with the policies Trump also started, or is it going to be an entirely different thing altogether? So what are we anticipating to see?
If my name ever goes down into history, it'll be for this act, and my whole soul is in it. My whole soul is in it. Today, on this January day, my whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people, uniting our nation. And I ask every American to join me in this cause.
To me, I believe it's one of the most powerful speech, because look, all reflecting on the events or the encounters before the elections, I managed to be a winning. So here, maybe democracy is very precious, indeed it is. Then you also said democracy is very fragile. Yes, it is. The least thing about it can get off the hand, like it's a free ball like a glass, as we saw. Then he went on further to say, he talked about the resilience of the American Constitution. Not just that, we emphasize or acknowledge certain dignities, be our former leaders and predecessors. No bomb or focusing on. So now, what is Biden's administration in for the American people themselves domestically? So, and 25th of January is going to be the first day in office. Let's see. We issued an executive order. Now he's going after Trump's immigration policies. First thing, also there was a ban on Nigeria, ban on Iran, and a ban on Syria. We're reversing it. These are some of the things we're talking about in executive rules now. Now let's see how the policy on trade will be. 2, on the situation about COVID now, we're proposing 1.9 billion. So the Barbary survey. So now there's going to be another stimulus check, which is 1.4. Sorry, that's 1,400 per head, purposely to get American people going again because of the situation of Bono. So how is unemployment going to be? How is it going to tackle the social intervention? Now let's see the democratic policies. I believe Senate in the first day in office will issue these executive orders. Now let's see what the other leaders in this one running country, what they are in for. On this note, in the middle BBRC. So I covered yesterday and today